same thing today when I received a call, but it was literally driving, and it works, and decided to use it. Or awesome, yes. And because people want to feel like you're not pushing them off, but most people, believe it or not, are really nice people, Sheena, and they will work with you. And especially when they feel like you're interested in purchasing their home. But here's the thing, even though you want to purchase their home, you want to ask them a lot of questions, because your goal is, on your first conversation, is to collect information. You're collecting how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what's the square footage, when was the last time they did the work, does it need any work, what's making them sell now, if they were going to keep it, what would they do with it if they were going to keep it. And you're asking all these questions because you're really seeking out their motivation. You want to know how motivated they are. And as you keep questioning them, you will find that some people aren't as motivated as they told you. If somebody says, their property's worth 300,000 and it's only worth 100,000, and they insist that they have to get 300,000, that person is not really motivated. Now you could turn around and be speaking to somebody whose property is worth 300,000, and they just want to get out of it, so they'll be happy to take even 150, 200,000. You're looking for the motivation. And even the person wants to sell their home for 300,000 when it's only worth 150. If they give you the right terms, that could turn out to be a good deal too. But it's not a deal for you to wholesale. That is a deal that you have to do some creative financing with. And this is why I like to train people as they need to know basis, train you as you're doing the work, and helping you, know what to get or what to say as you are learning at your stage of real estate, so we can help you move to the next level. So again, your first conversation, you're always collecting information. It's like going to the doctor's office. The doctor doesn't see you until they collect information. A lot of doctors are online now, so they'll even collect information online, and you want to do the same. What's making you sell? I'm really interested in that property, but I just need to get the details so I can make sure I'm giving you the best offer possible. And some people will even say, wow, how did you know I was thinking of selling? This was right on time. Receiving your postcard is right on time. Receiving your postcard is right on time. And so then they'll say, this is why I'm selling. I'm tired of tenants, or, with COVID, I just lost a family member. I don't want these properties anymore, or I just want to retire. A gentleman his wife has COVID. And so he's like, I've been investing in real estate for a long time, and I just want to get rid of everything now so I can spend time with my wife. So you want to hear these stories that they want to share with you, because the more you know, the better deal you can work out. Don't be so quick to say, well, I'm looking at the comps and your home is only worth this and this, because they don't care what price you want to give them until they know they've built rapport with you. And asking questions will help them to build rapport with you. And you want to tell them, yes, I need to ask you all these questions just to see if this is a good fit for both of us, to see if this is a good deal for both of us. I don't want to take advantage of you, and I definitely don't want you to take advantage of me. I want to make sure this is a win-win situation. And you see how I said that? I didn't say it like, I'm talking to them in a very harsh way. People will feel more comfortable with you when you hold conversations. Why are you selling now? What is it that you need to do with the finances? When you sell, where are you moving to? Or when you sell, will you be reinvesting that money in another property? Because if so, maybe I can help you there as well. Do you have any other properties you're looking to sell? One of my favorite things is, I know somebody else that may be looking to to purchase if you have anything else. Or you can say, I'm looking for more than one property in the area. So you want to get the motivated seller by finding out their true motivation. And if they say they need to sell right now, and they're not asking for a crazy amount, once you speak to the seller and they say, this is what I'm looking for, then you want to see if what they're looking for is reasonable. And you can go online. The easiest way is to just go online. There's apps and everything that, to me, when you're brand spanking new and investing in all this stuff, like some of you guys tell me all this stuff you're investing in, and I'm like, that is just stuff you're going to stick on your shelf, and it's taking you in so many different directions. You basically need to find a motivated seller, talk to the motivated seller, evaluate the price of the property, the condition of the property. Make sure you have cash buyers that can buy that property from you. Make sure your team can close this deal and move on to the next one. You don't need to get all these bells and whistles. And, I watch people, even some of the stuff they're posting online, and you're just putting money out. You really need to do the work. If you want to put money out, invest in a list of, vacant homes, tired or bored investors, things of that sort, probate. The more the person has a problem, the better you need to learn to speak to them and not get offended when they get upset. I had one lady that called me, and she literally cursed me out. Young lady, she had to be about 18 years old, called me just cussing and carrying on. How dare you send this letter to my mom? She is not going to sell her house. And because some people are used to the regentrification, or, the people coming and giving them 2 cents on the dollar for their homes. And so I let her go on. And then I matched her energy. I said, I don't know who you talking to like that, but you need to stop talking to me like that. And I sent this letter to your mom. I didn't tell your mom she had to sell. I offered her, if she was thinking of selling, I'm interested in buying in that neighborhood. Energy changed. So you still sticking to the script. You still want to find out their motivation. And that lady didn't want to sell right then and there. She was going to sell later. And so I saved them, and I continue to drip on them until they're ready. You got to keep dripping on them until they're ready. One of the things I want you to learn is what we call mirror matching. If a person talks to you very slow, you don't want to talk to them very fast, because they're not even hearing you, because their mind does not work like your mind. Their mind works like this. So you have to speak to them like this. And you may think these things don't matter, but they're more important in building the rapport. And then you want to see what is the price point of their property. If they have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, you can't go look at 4-bedroom, 3 baths that are selling for $200,000 and say they can get $200,000 too, because they can't. You're comparing their home to a bigger home, and you're going to be messing yourself up. And then you also want to look at, is their home the right looking house for the market? Is that house right for the market? So if they're selling a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but it's outdated, they have an old stove and refrigerator, they have an old bathroom, you cannot compare that to a 3-bedroom, 2-bath that's been totally renovated. You have to learn to take away for that. You need to know the as is value and the after repair value, which simply means, if you buying this house at this amount, is it worth it? And when you fix it up, what will you need to do? What do you need to update the bathroom? Do you need to gut out the kitchen? And then you want to give yourself a cushion of money because sometimes when you open up these houses and you start doing the renovation, you find out you have electrical problems, or there was a plumbing issue you didn't know about, or now there's a bigger asbestos problem than you were told. So you always want to leave yourself a cushion. And so you want to get really strict about the numbers part of the property if you're looking to wholesale it, because you got to leave room for the person that's going to take the property off your hands, for them to do the work and for them to make a profit. So for an example, if you have a property that's say 80,000, but you charge 5,000 for your assignment fee or for selling the contract, you might as well look at that property as 85,000 now. And then you got to look at if the property needs X amount of work. Let's say it needs 20,000 in repairs. Right there, that's 105,000. Then you got to find an investor that's going to say to you, in my deals, I look for properties that are 80,000 and I'm only going to put 20,000 worth of work, but I need to sell it for about 200,000. So is that house worth that to this investor? And then you get it to that investor. You don't want to just take on properties and they're just sitting there and you're not getting to any closings, because that also goes back to this part of your pyramid, the middle part, the people on your team. If you have a big enough team, somebody's going to want that deal. I have some deals where some investors will say, oh, no, that doesn't work for me. And then another investor will say, that's perfect for me. Another investor, it might even be somebody that they want to buy it and fix it up and keep it. They don't want to sell it. So you want to find out from your investors what kind of properties they look for. So these are all the things you know at one time. You need to know this all at one time. And that's why I don't understand how somebody could try to become a real estate investor or a real estate agent and they're a loan agent or a loan investor. You need people to get this done with you. And you want to build a team that knows more than you know. You want to work with a team of people. You don't want an attorney that just, this is their first deal, or attorney that, most of their work is that they do another kind of they're a different type of attorney. You need a real estate attorney, and you don't want a real estate attorney that doesn't want to talk with you, that doesn't value you as a real estate investor, and you got to them down. Keep looking to build your team. And that's one of the reasons we're doing this wholesale challenge in January. And we have so many different speakers. You guys don't even know all of the speakers that we're going to have. And it's a free event. We're not charging you for the event. The people that show up, you'll be getting the information, right there in time, in real time. But if you don't show up for the real time, the replay is going to be sold. It's going to be sold as a training course. So you really want to try to make sure that you're available for the trainings that are going to start January 4th. We have myself speaking, we have lenders speaking, we have investors speaking, we have, different parts, how to market and find your sellers, where to get your list from, how to get the financing, how to create your business platform so you can close more deals, how to get financing for your companies, how to get financing for your hard money deals, or how to wholesale a deal, how to build your credit so that you are credit worthy to become a strong investor. And it's not a one-day course. It is 2 weeks, an hour every day for 2 weeks. Each speaker is speaking at different times. Each speaker is speaking at different times. On different days. So we definitely want to make sure that you get this information and then you go and look to wholesale a deal. Work on wholesaling a deal. If you're an agent, work on getting a listing so you else can sell it for you. And now you're practicing building your business and automating it. We want you to master the money generating activities, finding the seller, talking to the seller, getting the seller in contract, making sure the title is clean and that you can close, finding the cash buyers, These are the areas you're going to make your most money. You're not going to make your most money buying the next new app somebody's sharing with you, or deal this maker and deal that. Just go ahead and do the work. Do the work. Don't look for shortcuts. Do the work. Go out there. And I'm not against different apps, but I'm saying to you, find one thing, stick to it, and close more deals. Find something, stick to it, and close more deals. If you're on one of my programs, finish the program. Don't keep, you're doing the program, but then you're adding this and you're doing that too. And no, just finish the program. When you were going to the gym, you didn't pay for 3 different gym memberships. You paid for one, and you go there and you do the work, and then your body changes and you become the body size and the body look and the energy you want. Then you add something else. Real estate is the same. Don't be scattered everywhere. Focus on, how can I close a deal before the end of the year? How do I close a deal before the end of the year? One is find a cash buyer and find them a property they want and close them. The other is find a good property and wholesale it. Those are the 2 quickest ways to close a deal before the end of the year. And we just shared with you how you can do it. Do not be afraid to ask sellers questions. They don't know you're brand spanking new, and you won't move to the next level of your business being afraid to talk to sellers. It's got to become second nature. I know how it is to be afraid to talk to sellers. People come to me now and they say, oh my God, your dialogue is so strong. But if you had talked to me a few years ago when I first got started in this business, you'd say, oh my God, like, this girl's never going to make any money in this industry. But I kept practicing my scripts on people and they still work. That's never going to change. An app is never going to make it easier for you to close the deal. After asking questions, how do you find a cash buyer? Is that the question? You're looking for a cash buyer, or are you looking for a traditional buyer? And guys, you can ask me questions at this point. So are you looking for a cash buyer, or are you looking for a traditional buyer? If you're looking for a cash buyer, you want to start promoting We Buy Houses for Cash. You can also go in your whatever the zip code is that you are any buyer. Okay. So if you're looking for a cash buyer, let's say your zip code is 123456. Well, go ahead and go in, even on social media, you can Google cash buyers in that zip code, or you can go and Google in your area. You could also go on, different sites like Craigslist, but you definitely want to Google cash buyers. And when you're in certain groups, like this group or other groups, you want to make sure you put in there, are there any cash buyers in this zip code? And you start building them. You start building your list. Don't wait until you have a deal to build your list. You want to build your list now, so try to find yourself at least 10 cash buyers between now and tomorrow. It's doable. Go online and Google cash buyers in that zip code, and it will show you. And when you're talking to some of these sellers, ask them, what kind of properties? You seem to be a really smart investor. What kind of properties do you look for? Because what if I came across something that would be a better fit for you? Would you be open to me sharing that with you? And most people will say yes. And when you're posting on social media, every now and then say, we wanted cash buyers in this zip code, and people will start knowing to connect with you, and your list will grow. For traditional everyday buyers, I find video of the property and promoting it on your Instagram, on your Facebook page, definitely on LinkedIn, TikTok, wherever you can post your video. Don't make it too long. Make it a minute or less. And if you're pushing it, do 3 minutes. But once you post it out there, people will start contacting you. You also want to find other agents and say to them, you know, do you work with cash buyers in this area? Do you have any cash buyers in this area that pay you to find them properties, because I have this property and I'm looking to get rid of it, or I'm looking for a cash buyer, because they know that the cash buyer will pay their commission and you don't have to. So you want to learn to build your team, and now you'll get more deals from other people helping you. You want to promote your properties. Of course, you're going to put it on MLS if you're an agent. Never be afraid to create buyers. Only thing I don't like to do, and I've shared this before, is I never put the address on my property until I have an agreement with you, a non-circumvent, non-compete, whatever you want to call it, but where I have proof that I'm the one that showed you the property. Because you don't want, if you post it out there, anybody can go to your property and go behind your back and talk to the seller, and you find out your deal, they're in contract with somebody else. So you want to make sure that you're in control of your deal. Another great thing is, even though it's an investment deal, do open houses. That's why it's great to have a seller give you a lockbox key so you could take people in and out as you need to. You want to tell the seller you were there or you're going there, but you don't want to always have the seller meet you there, because sometimes you don't want your motivated seller and your cash investor to meet each other. You want to be the man in the middle, because that's what you're getting paid for as an investor. So you're juggling both. Do it step by step. First, get that deal in contract. But as you're doing that, if you're working on a specific zip code, you want to make, you know, all the cash buyers that buy that zip code and what kind of properties they look for, so you can deal with them. And again, if you're doing a traditional sale, do not be afraid to promote your stuff on social media. Everything is going online. So you don't have to always be at the property. You know, you can even have a Zoom open house. You can have, there's so many ways to do stuff online right now. Anybody have any other questions? We have a couple more minutes before I'm going to let you guys go, but I really want to help you guys to close more deals and to grow in this community so that you can run your business like a business. So if there's any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Creative financing is what Saul asked me about. You don't want to be, like I said, all over the place. When you're brand spanking new, you want to be so focused. If you get a deal or a property and you then need creative financing, talk to me. I did a training, but creative financing is basically like one, I've done a deal where creatively the way I financed it is I used my credit card to move the lady and she gave me the house. That was my down payment. I've had others where they give you control of the property, but you pay them every 6 months. Creative financing is not anything blanket. You just come up with a different way of paying the seller. You and the seller do something that's creative for them, and they feel comfortable enough to say, okay, here's the property, and you want to make sure that you can pay them. So when people text me different scenarios, then I give them different options of how to do the deal. So creative financing just simply means you're not going to the bank to get your money. You're not going to a private lender to get you're financing it creatively. You're coming up with different ways. Sometimes people will say, okay, you do the work and I'll give you the property. Or they'll say you fix it up and you put in all the sweat equity, or you put the tenant in it, and then once you get the tenant, then I'll get paid. There's so many different ways to do creative financing. It just depends on what the seller needs to have happen. And so that's why I say you want to master talking with sellers. and you can't do anything wrong. Don't feel like, oh, I don't know it all. Until I know everything, I'm not going to speak to sellers. If you have that mindset, by the time you speak to sellers, there's a million people getting into real estate just about every single day. And so by the time you get perfect, you're going to find that the competition is even more. And now you need to be stronger, and you need to be more versatile, and you need to have more solutions for the seller, which is not going to happen if you don't get in there and get started. You never learn how to drive the car until you get in there and drive the car. So I want you guys to take the steps, talk to more sellers, talk to more cash buyers, and then match the two together. When you do that, that's when you get paid. You don't get paid for sitting on the training and then not implementing. You get paid when you take the stuff you've learned and you put it into practice. And then you want to make sure, if you say you're a real estate investor on a daily basis, how much real estate investing are you doing? How much time are you putting into market for deals? How much time are you putting in to find cash buyers? How much time are you putting in to build relationships with your lender, with your attorney, with other real estate agents? You know, that's the best way to grow your brand. So you want to get out there and you want to keep doing it. And I've put a lot of the stuff that I've shared with you guys before on the RIA Meetup. If you look at old posts, you'll see the worksheets on there. I think I've even posted this pyramid on there. And we also have posted the Yellow Letter Mentoring marketing quadrant that gives you different ways to market your business. We put a lot of information in the group, and it's just so that you don't feel like you're doing it alone. And then you're able to text me and ask me questions. And if you're in the Yellow Letter Mentoring program, usually on Wednesdays, we speak. And if not, when you text me, I do respond, especially if you're in the group program. I have some students that, pay me to shadow me and talk to me more often. But if you're in the group program, we always make it a point to make ourselves available to talk with you and to give you guidance. And if I don't know the answer, I know somebody who does, and I'll go connect you with that person if need be. I just want to see you stay focused, stay motivated. You got to learn to control your brain and keep yourself focused, and do the stuff that you don't like to do first, and then do the other stuff after. You want to stay focused. Don't be all over the place. Stay focused. Find yourself a good list, market to that list, promote yourself on social media, and attract people that need to buy and sell. Market to that list. When people call you back, be able to question them and find out their motivation, the condition of the property, what terms you can get out of them, what's the best price you can get for the property, and then find yourself a cash buyer that will take it off your hands. Don't hold on to the property because you want to make $50,000 on the first deal. Get your first deal done so you know from beginning to end what it took to get that deal done. And then it will also strengthen you to be able to go and do more deals, and to have the confidence to go and do more deals, and build your brand as a real estate investor, as a real estate agent. So I hope this has been helpful to you. And I just love to hear the testimonials. I have one young lady that was like afraid to put out her letters. And then I have a young man who's on this call as well. And he did the same thing. He was afraid to put out his letters. And both of them, once they sent their letters out, if you're doing postcards, once you send those postcards out, your phone is going to ring. Then you need to know what to say, get them to a closing table. That's when you get paid. You got to get people to closing tables. Get people to closing tables. You're not in it to get people, just talk. You want to get people to closing tables. And so your team is very, very important to that. So again, I hope this was helpful, and I thank you for hanging out with me. We've been chatting for about an hour. And again, I hope this was helpful. And look out for the wholesale challenge. I'm not going to tell you what our challenge reward is going to be yet, but we're looking to help people who have not done a wholesale deal do a wholesale deal within their first 30 days. And so I hope, again, this was very, very helpful. I'll talk to you guys soon, and bye.